All right, everybody. Thank you all for joining us today for round 2 of the Q1 2022 International Accelerator Startup Showcase. My name is Park Benjamin. I'm the COO for the International Accelerator, an all-inclusive year-long acceleration program centered exclusively around bringing foreign-born entrepreneurs to Austin to help them scale their businesses in the U.S. market. By providing our founders with everything from immigration and corporation support to free office space and housing, brand development, graphic design, industry-specific mentorship, business planning, and go-to-market strategies, we set them up for a successful launch into seed and Series A funding rounds with help from external investment partners such as yourselves. Before getting into our startups for the showcase today, I'd like to first ask the founder of the International Accelerator, Angelos Angelou, to share some words and general updates about the accelerator itself. Angelos.
Thank you, Park. Welcome you all to the International Accelerator Showcase. We're delighted to have you with us today. We have 3 incredible entrepreneurs that will be presenting. I wanted to basically say a few things about the accelerator as we have a couple of slides for introductions here. We have an active portfolio of about 25 or so portfolio companies. Some of them will be presenting today. We are pretty excited with the success that we've had so far. Our first fund, if you will, next slide. Our first fund was an experimental fund of 3.2 million. We've already returned 9.3 million to our investors and likely to return another 45 to 55 million when we exit from 12 companies that were made up in Fund 1. We are going to be including a fundraising effort later in the summer to raise a $50 million fund to promote our growth. And we are a 12-month acceleration program with free housing, free business development, free office space, free everything. In fact, the entrepreneurs live at my home. So I'm all in on this and get to know them really well and help them scale their business in the US. So without any further ado, I will turn it over to Vivian.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Angelos. Thank you all for joining us today. I have the pleasure today of introducing 3 of our most promising and disruptive new startup founders to discuss their companies and the vision they hold for their future in the US. Each company will have a total of 30 minutes allocated, with the first 10 minutes for their pitch and the next 20 minutes for Q&A generated from questions in the chat. Please feel free to type your questions at any point during the presentations, and we'll have them ready for the founders after they finish. If you miss anything during the presentations or need to circle back for any reason, we'll also be posting the entire showcase to our YouTube channel, along with showcases from previous cohorts. The first person I'll be introducing today is Ajay Kabadi from Docket Run in India. Docket Run is a cutting-edge machine learning platform that utilizes AI to leverage real-world data into actionable insights by business owners. Docket Run has already won numerous awards for achievement, including Elevate and the Thai Hubli Startup of the Year, and is quickly growing traction in multiple markets. We're extremely excited about the potential AI-enhanced machine learning has for detection applications in the traffic, parking, security, agriculture, manufacturing, and retail spaces, and look forward to a bright future for AJ and his team. AJ, it's all you.
Yeah, thanks, Park. Just confirm if you can see my screen, then I'll go ahead. Hope you can see the screen in a full screen mode.
Yeah, we can see your screen.
Okay, great. So, hey everyone, myself Ajay Kabadi. I'm the founder and CEO of Docket Run Tech Private Limited. We are in the space of video analytics. We are helping various businesses in reducing the overall monitoring their overall standard operating procedures, increasing efficiencies, profitability, and customer experience score, overall employee net promoter score as well. We predominantly working on two major industries, that is retail and manufacturing. And we are working with one of the largest automotive manufacturing companies like Maruti Suzuki, Tata Hitachi, along with steel manufacturing companies like JSW Steel, Tata Steel, and even impacting these segments as well. The problem that we have seen by talking to various industries, by visiting and having a one-on-one to one-on-one discussion, is manufacturing industry already has a lot of people who are working as an overall force, where they have employee safety compliances which needs to be monitored. And there are CCTV cameras. CCTV cameras are mainly used for security and surveillance purposes. And thinking about the manufacturing factory floors, having 300, 400, or 500 cameras becomes a difficult mode to check in what's happening in and around at every location. The overall quality also becomes a major challenge, right from the quality control, evaluating all the standard operating procedures, which has been set by a manufacturing factory floor. Are they getting evaluated correctly? We are totally dependent on a manual intervention, which is being set by the managers of the respective floors. And what also seen is the manufacturing is projected to add 15 to 20% on annual sales revenue. Sometimes it is reaching around 40% of the total overall operations as well. That's billions of dollars, what is being going in. Another part of it, due to the negligence, due to the overall process flow, which is not being maintained, since the employees are not being trained in a much better way. We have seen a lot of accidents, the leakages, and the various leakages which are happening at the factory floors. We have seen external causes like the repair, servicing, the warranty issues of those machines and these parts. That's where we saw a great opportunity where we wanted to change in like how the manufacturers try to reimagine how they work with the help of our intelligent solution. And as one part of it, I was mentioning, they were unable to evaluate their procedures as well. That's how Docketron's manufacturing analytics solutions was born in via these various insights by talking to one-on-one, as mentioned. So we revolutionized the overall system, what we have built in. The existing CCTV cameras are already there. We have created a device, what we call it as Docketron AI Edge device, which basically plugs and play with the existing infrastructure. When I say an existing infrastructure, it just uses the existing CCTV cameras in the network. And from there, we just get the live feed and we take our respective active real-time decisions. What type of things that we work on is right from the employee safety, we check in the helmet, the uniform, the hard jackets, the gloves which are being worn at the sharp areas. We check the safety shoes, etc. are being controlled or not. This happens on real time. This is an on-prem solution that we provide. When I say on-prem, it's everything happens on the device itself, so that no data goes to the cloud. That's where it's becoming 100% anonymous as well as GDPR compliance as well. No additional infrastructure as such required. We use your existing cameras and providing these analytics into space, where whenever there is a violation, you get a WhatsApp notification along with this email notification as well. But WhatsApp becomes a much easier for a manager to take required actions. Security surveillance part, we also make sure that the authorized entry of the vehicles are being restricted at some particular areas. Maybe the employees are restricted at particular areas. Vehicles are being restricted at particular areas. We check in those phases as well. There are the situations which we have seen that people trespassing, stealing a lot of things. So we do, there are cameras which does a motion tracking, but we do an object identification of the person both day and night. And we capture who is violating, who is basically jumping the compound and stealing various things. We do call it various custom quality inspection, defect identification of the various manufacturing quality inspection, what is being happening at the factory floor. To manage the overall vehicle management, which is currently being done more of a manual way, noting down the paper, what are type of the materials going in and out, the vehicles coming in. What we do is we have built up a system for vehicle management system, which does number plate identification, parking management, and also identification and alerting at where are the authorized places, which has been parked for, along with the speed detection in place. The market as such, talking about India as well as US market as well, and the global perspective as well. The global IP camera is being exceeded by US 20 billion by 2024. And in an Indian manufacturing sector alone, despite the COVID-19 effect that we have seen, it's rising at a CAGR of a robust of 10.8% what we are seeing. But has the US's market been concerned, we have seen a total output of 11.39%, which is really huge what we are seeing here. And the overall video surveillance market is being projected to reach by 23.6 billion by 2027. How we are making this impact? We are basically integrating this device, which reduces 50% of the employee reduction cost. Basically gives you a 24/7 security-based surveillance system, which is with 2 years plus 1 year of extended warranty with a 10% extra payment that they're gonna make it. It's a faster response time. This can be integrated any CCTV brand, you just name it, like Bosch, Hikvision, the major brands, we can just plug and play to the system. The business model is simple. We work with directly B2B clients where the edge device comes with a first initial cost of $4,000 as one-time payment. And then we do per camera per year per camera basis, starting from $700. And based on the feature customization, we change the per year per camera basis cost along with the software development cost. That has been our major revenue growth as well. How do we tap in? We tap in by directly doing a POC to production. In fact, just a week back, we were in the top 5 for MG, that is Morris Garage automotive segment as well, where we are trying to do a POC and we take it to the production level. That's been our key advantage by working with this huge client bases. We have set of CCTV partners, like we have done a US-based partnership recently, that is Pelco, which is non-hackable, which is being installed in India as well in the parliament basis, which gives us a great impact as well. We do a direct connectivity and we directly connect with innovation head groups, showcase how the system is scalable as well. As an example, if 300, 400 cameras are there, we suggest them a dedicated server where the same software stack plays in. And the customer segment that we are tapping in is automotive, steel, defense, chemical, and FMCG market. This is on live demo snapshots, what's been happening at the factory floor, which is being recognizing helmet, uniform, face mask, social distancing, on live time reports, crowding, etc. This is one more use case where people are trespassing the compound. We can see at the right-hand side with my mouse pointer, both at the night condition, with a low light condition, it was able to detect a person over here and people basically trespassing these compounds. And expected violations is being sent out right to the control room to take a required action so the patrolling vehicles can go and take the necessary action on real time instead of getting into so much cameras where a lot of hiccups happens for the employee to check in. This is our number plate recognition system that we have solely built for Indian number plate data set as well, which recognizes the plate color, the identification of the color, the model, etc., which you can filter it out based on the convenience purposes. What makes us great apart from the competition, what is doing there? It's a plug and play setup, but we haven't. It's a cost-effective solution. You might be thinking cloud is also there as a solution if bandwidth is also a major constraint. That's where we see $5,000 per month, which you can take it as an expense if you're considering for CCTV, which you want to analyze. But this device just does all the analytics on the device itself. But we can make this data available in the cloud as well. That's where we are becoming unique. It's a scalable model that we have built. We can just connect to any NVR, any DVR, any IP cameras, and this is a scalable system what we have been built so far. Comparing with the automation system that we are bringing in with the manual labor, there is a fixed expenses, reduces the overall training cost, the real-time alert systems. And there is an AI model accuracy which can keep on increasing. So quality and reliability is being increased so that there are less injuries and there is more of an AMC or maintenance program what is being involved. We already have a great growth. We already have 6x growth by revenue by the revenue projection by next year projection. We already have a great set of clientele. We have done a 3x growth by the previous financial year of $53,000. We have retention of at least, we have a month-on-month growth rate of 25 to 34% of the customers. And all the customers what we have been established are the repetitive customers for us and nobody has dropped out. That's where we see a capability of the technology that we are bringing in. And the earning before the interest tax depreciation that we have a great margin of 15 to 20% that we are bringing in. There are other people in the market, like the global market players, which are there into this space. What we are unique about this is we support both the low-level based cameras, which are pretty much called as analog-based cameras, which are being tested by ourselves, which are being running smoothly. We do tracking-based technology, where we identify a particular individual, and we can customize based on the needs of the customer. That's where it becomes unique, what we are bringing into the market. A great set of experience what we have on board. I take care of business development and sales at Docitron. Shweta is a statistician coming with a great experience in AI, finance, and operation, whereas Chetan looks after the overall product design and marketing. a great enthusiastic of young minds that we have into a place which diversify from operation sales technology that we are building in, and great set of advisories. We already have angels on board from International Accelerator, but from India we have Santosh, who is the Thai global head as well, who is a former Thai representative in Hubli, and also global representative as well, who has been a great investor as well as mentor for us. And we are a great set of advisors who are helping on various strategic planning, business planning, etc. We have been great recognized. We have been there disrupting this market, and we have been recognized by the best startup of the year by TIE. Won a various couple of grants, Maruti Suzuki Innovation Program. In fact, lot of innovation and acknowledgement from Narayan Murthy from Infosys itself. We have been recognized as one of the game changers for NASCOM as the innovator of 2021. And even during the COVID-19 solution, we were just making the revenue as by providing this COVID-19 solution. So we can imagine the technology that we are bringing in. We can even sustain during the COVID-19, where BIRAC is basically a biotechnology research and institute, which has been given us grant as well as, and beyond COVID-19 solutions, what we are bringing in. A great set of local support, what we have done during the COVID-19. So you can see the technology that we're bringing in is a robust part of it. As a part of the ask, what we are trying to make in, we are trying to have a safe-based ask, and with a $650,000, where most of it will go to for 40% in R&D, so 30% in human resources, with 10% operations and marketing cost. Where it has mentorship part of it, we're already getting a great support from IA on the go-to-market strategy accelerator. But mainly the financial support will go to fast track the AI edge development that we are bringing in, the development cycles reduction, mixing of our AI skills, development delivery as well, because we want to hold this inventory on live basis, so that whenever the customer comes into place, we have the live inventory in place, where we can ship these devices on real-time basis. So they require this AI machine based edge devices systems that we need to hold it. And we can become a 10x growth by increasing the customer satisfaction by having a dedicated AI server. But we do have an AI-based server, but we want to set up a dedicated AI lab, which can give us a 10x based output, which can fasten up our development process, the AI model training to get these systems on board to maintain this accuracy and make it much forward, which can increase by 10x as such. So that was about Dr. Trin, and happy to take any questions and look forward.
Thank you. You can all drop your questions in the chat for AJ to answer. Let's wait a couple of minutes as the questions come in. So, AJ, someone is asking about your background. Is this your first startup?
Okay. This is my second, actually. The first one I started into 3D printing on my college days 3 years back. And we made a little soft exit, I would say. And this is my second one, what we have initiated.
And your background, if you want to share a few information.
Okay, I had done an information science engineering. I was previously a technological head of one of the largest incubation center in India, that is Deshpande Startups. After making a soft exit with a 3D printing firm that I worked with, post college I was offered as a technological head for one of the largest incubation center called as Deshpande Startups, where I've been associated with for 1 year, helping a lot of companies from POCs to the production layer. And that entrepreneurship thing was there. That's the reason I made I quit from CTO of based technology and then started Docketer as such. Yeah.
Great. How much time does it take on average to onboard a client?
That's an interesting. So that's an interesting question. So pretty much what we have seen on the previous, it's been 3 to 4 months since we work with B2B based client. We have seen 3 to 4 months of a max to onboard by doing a POC and then make it to production. And then from there, we have seen a recurring based revenue, what has been established so far.
Mm-hmm. Would you like to talk a little bit about your revenue? There was a slide about that, but if you can.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Mhm.
So we already have made $53,000 on the previous financial year. We already have clocked two more bigger orders in this current month itself, which has been a great segment, which can show us a great success growth by capturing a market with a revenue of $318,000.
Someone's asking if it's only the visual recognition data points that you take into account or any other aspects such as thermal, for example.
Currently, we are taking the visual recognition data point itself, but there are a couple of partners that we work with, as mentioned, like Pelco brand. Like we have a great partnership with Advantech and Pelco, where we add our systems with an external devices where we get these data points because we are doing one of the POC for thermal inspection of the motors. There are motors which runs in a steel manufacturing plant where we need to calculate. So external supply of some devices that we do, but we don't go deeply into that. But our major focus is in the visual itself.
Thank you. Do you have? Can you tell us more about the contracts that are in the pipeline? How do you plan to deliver?
Okay, so I'll just share you a couple of things which are non-confidential. I would say some couple of ones. So we have signed a biggest steel manufacturing order just a month back, where around 50 plus odd companies had been participated out of like US as well, and we are into the top two, and we are going ahead with that. Our next process in next 2 weeks, POC will be started. That's a contract that we have it. I would proudly say that JSW Steel, that is Jindal in India, is one of the biggest factory of steel manufacturing where we have continuous orders coming in. Since they have seen us a great work onto this segment. So steel manufacturing and automotive segment has been seen. And so recently, just a week back, as mentioned, MG, Hector, or you can see Morris Garage recognized us as the top 7 companies, and we look forward in doing a POC with them. So these are the contracts. Maruti Suzuki as well with manufacturing. These are a couple of things what we have in pipeline.
Great, thank you. What is the average ticket size?
Okay, so it's Manish. If like maybe I can take it in Indian numbers then. Has average ticket size, or you need in a dollars? Yeah. So in INR, it's 10 lakhs plus 10 lakhs. What I would say, 10 lakhs INR is a basic minimum ticket size that we get an order with.
Thank you. And both. Anish says it's okay if you talk about both currencies. And I think you answered to that.
I can see one more. Sultan has been mentioning what is the biggest technological bottleneck you are facing right now. Technology as bottleneck, we have the major bottleneck is the AI server that we need to procure in, where we can generate another 10x of the faster AI deployments. We are working with one of the R&D based project which can help us in getting patent as well. That is multi-tracking system that we are working with, which is currently at the beta stage, I would say, which has a greater capability. So that's what I want to comment on by now.
Thank you. I don't see any more questions right now. We'll wait for a couple of minutes. There might be more coming in.
Any questions I can take now or offline as well? Yeah.
What's your retention rate? Asks.
It's already it's still 100%. I would say so. Yeah, it's still 100% and recurring. Yeah. No customer has left us till now.
Perfect. Are there any hardware integration issues?
We did had initially 1.5 years back when we tried manufacturing by ourselves in India itself from Chennai. But we faced badly. But now we have a great partnership from Taiwan, where we get these manufactured. We have great set of partners from there who help us from Taiwan connecting to Bangalore and Pune. So right now the devices are robust, can work on both low cold temperature conditions as well as high temperature conditions as well. Pretty much can scale up to the 300, 400 cameras with a robust fanless system. And we get this manufactured over there, and the software and everything, we built it in-house.
Thank you, AJ. How easy would it be to install on up and running old analog systems?
Analog, yes, we can integrate, but the quality of the megapixel is also constrained. If it's a 2 megapixel HD based camera, then that I would recommend that would be a good quality to start with to collect some of the data points, what we can mention it.
Thank you. And have you partnered with any Taiwan companies or any clients from Taiwan?
We have partnerships from Taiwan a month back with China as well, where we are exploring that market as well with the current type of solutions what we have in. But Taiwan has a partnership, is our major, which has been 2 years journey with them now.
Thank you. Would your system be open for implementation in other fields such as agriculture?
We don't want to enter still. We want to still penetrate the manufacturing and retail market solely. And then if everything goes well, and then we expand in a much bigger space, then I would consider agriculture, but not for now. But pretty much focus is to remain on manufacturing and retail.
Perfect. Thank you, AJ. I think it's time to welcome our second startup. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Mark, thank you.
Thank you so much, AJ, and thank you all for your questions. Our second company presenting today will be Maya Health, led by their founders Jorge Mejia and Eduardo Large. Founded in Colombia, Maya aims to bridge the gap to better healthcare by connecting physicians, patients, and caregivers with real-time information about what the patient is actually experiencing and how they're responding to treatment outside of the physician's office. By creating the first social network designed entirely for cancer patients, caregivers, survivors, and family members, Maya encourages a paradigm shift from the traditional healthcare record and encourages patients to take a more active voice in their care decisions and recovery. Maya has already seen marked traction in numerous hospital and pharmacological partnerships in both the US and LATAM and aims to continue growing their success in 2022. Jorge, after you.
Hello, everyone. Just give me a second. I will share the screen with everyone of you. Just give me a sec now. And share screen. Just give me a second. Sorry. There you go. Screen. Okay. Sure. There. Are you able to see my screen at the moment?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, we are Maya Health, and what we do is that we try to defeat cancer through information. We are the first and the sole digital ecosystem for smart disease management in cancer. And this is very interesting because this journey starts with the diagnosis. Whenever you get the diagnosis, or your friend, your family gets that diagnosis, sorry, this is running without me. You get in a void of useless information. Unfortunately, that is the big problem. In healthcare, information is siloed or fragmented. And this is as debilitating as the illness, as we say here. So what we planned and what we achieve is a solution in which we could include patients, doctors, and the institutions. So that ecosystem allows the information to flow in a way that we could help the therapy journey. So we created an interaction of information based on a social network and an outpatient follow-up strategy. That's what configures what Maya is. So what we do that and how we do that. We have ethical live data collection. So we capture the information from the patient or the sources that it's important for the patient. That's why we integrate the data, as we say that. And then we create and we support through AI and predictive models in a HIPAA compliant platform. All that information comes about, but everything is tied up with a social network, and a social network that responds to the need of a patient to help others, to communicate, and the need for doctors to be present, to have an audience, and other healthcare practitioners as well. So this is what we start to creating. We create this smart disease management that allows us an advanced coaching for the journey in cancer. So as you see, our social network, it's a patient-centric part in which the patient can tell their story to help others, in which there's curated information, in which we could help the patient lessen their anxieties, and the patient can actually be active. Sometimes as a patient, you don't want to talk to your family as much as you wanted to talk to other people about this. But if you want to talk with your family would be well informed to cross this scenario. So in summary, we are a person-centric social network for the cancer journey. We are a companion to patients, confidant for providers, clarifiers for pharma. And this is where we are finding ourselves now. We are working now with breast cancer, prostate cancer, and multiple myeloma, and we're moving towards lung cancer and the rest of the pathologies. 38.4% of the American population is going to be diagnosed with cancer in their lifetimes, and this is going to be the same for the rest of the world population. Probably world population will go up to 40%. So this is our target market at the moment. We see that there's a lot of people that's going to be needing of our help. Currently, we're having businesses with the Fundación Santa Fe, with Tower Urology in Los Angeles, with Roche, Janssen, Pfizer, and Boehringer, which are our main clients. And we had in the past with the government of Magdalena, which is like a state in Colombia, and with a nonprofit called Colombian Hematology and Oncology Association, we were awarded the first prize, Hernando Sarasti, last year for hematology and oncology with this type of development. Competitors, well, we do have this, which is a simple one, but Maya does not compete exactly with all of them. We compete in this scenario as an ecosystem, but none of them have the social network. None of them had included a niche solution for cancer, and none of them had back all their interactions with analytics and AI. So in that sense, we are top of the notch. We're asking now for $1 million, the seed round, and we have a committed investment of $100,000. So what we wanted to do with this is, as you see, the go-to-market in the US, the engineering development for new releases, a social network requires a lot of engineering, and the landing and corporate, as you see. So those are our numbers. We so far had built the pharma for 184K. If we take the 0.2% of the market, we expect to have 2 million in revenue. And this is supposed to go organically in 5 years to the 8.4% of the market to over $40 million. And that's our expectations at the moment. So the way we're working is that we hopefully are going to be going for the third quarter with the social network, and for the fourth quarter with a full cancer suite. That's how we're going to be developing our roadmap in this year. We have a third group of technology and medical team. Each time that passes, we have more and more medical people helping us. And now we have another doctor coming from the US, from the UK as well to help us. They are validators of the technology. And this is very important, because what we do is translating technology helping patients, and those validators, because you don't treat cancer as you like, you treat cancer as the community has decided to be, and how the science community has said to be done. So help us save life and help us move forward Maya in the American market. Any questions?
Thank you, Jorge. I'll go first with a question. Have you done any studies that prove the efficiency of the patient care from people that actually used Maya in the past?
Studies, like a proper study, a scientific study hasn't been done. However, we do have the opinions of the patients and the opinions of the caretakers in the institutions. And this has been actually very successful. Somehow what we could say is that the patient are so happy with it that they were part of those who actually told us to build this social network. That idea was in the back of our heads all the time, but in the sense that that particular satisfaction drove people that basically were not very into using apps and mobile phones, and they ask us, we want to be part of other patients' journey and we want to help them. So that's why we had this commitment. Perfect.
Thank you. Let's wait as more questions are coming in. Have you completed a pilot? Is another question. Who would pay for this solution?
So we do have clients. I mean, it's not a pilot, and who were playing for this solution, or who have paid for this solution, sorry, is the pharmaceutical industry. And this is very simple. They do have social responsibility resources, and they are interested in the adherence to the treatment. And those are things that we could do very easily. So the way it works in Latin America is the pharmaceutical industry pays for the program, so we can give this solution for free to the patient, and that's our model. We went for the money, and there's a subscription that the institution that's using it had to pay for the development of the program, and that's how it works. So we have clients at the moment. We are the first. We created with Clínica Santa Fe the first digital healthcare ecosystem for multiple myeloma. So in that sense, this is one achievement. We're working with a contract that we have with Clínica Santa Fe as well, but for breast cancer, it's not going to be as deep as myeloma, but it's going to be a way of understanding a digital ecosystem as well.
This is actually a follow-up question. Could this be reimbursed by chronic care management and or remote patient management, the billing codes?
Yeah, what we understand at the moment in the US market, this could be reimbursed. And this is one interesting thing. We've been talking with someone that did some of this journey, but in chronic care for diabetes. And his company is in Atlanta. And sure, he's doing it. And the rates, well, a patient costs $85 in diabetes, a patient in cancer may cost around $105.
Mm-hmm. Are there plans to integrate this to electronic medical records in the future, or stay independent of them?
Look, and this is very interesting. In any case, in any point, we could integrate Maya to electronic medical record. That is not a complication. This is what we adapt to our clients, and when the client wants it, we can connect to an electronic medical record. But at the moment, they think that the outpatient follow-up, it's the information that's complementary. So in that sense, they do have like another feel of attention, but we could, in any point in time, either from an IPI or an RPA, we could do this.
Thank you. Someone's asking, can you name a few clients?
Yeah, sure. We had Boehringer Ingelheim, we had Roche, we have Pfizer with ICAL, which is the Center for Cancer in Santa Fe Institute, and we had Janssen. We were working with Janssen in multiple myeloma. Those are our clients.
Perfect. Thank you, Jorge. Someone's asking, how do you manage data security and protect the confidentiality of the patients?
Okay, so and this is very interesting because when we started doing our first big project that was multiple myeloma, we had to pass a certification from Janssen. So our infrastructure is secure. We do have to have the clearances from patients and doctors. We do have to have the permission from them. Information is blindsided in most of the scenarios for even us when we're dealing with it. There's point of the information that we don't know, and this is part of the architecture that we've been developing. This architecture is now, it's always evolving, and it's regarding new technologies that ensure the security of the information of the patient, and new technologies, new regulation that comes from the country that we are interacting with. So in that sense, we passed the highest level of security evaluation from Janssen. We did the same with Roche, and that's how we know that our records, not also we think they're secure, and we do our best to have them secure, but those companies that have to comply with the hardship of the HIPAA compliant regulation, European regulation, and of course in Latin America, whenever a country has its own regulation, they're actually validated us to do this.
Perfect, thank you. Another question is, when it comes to the social network, that is a wild card, somebody says, it's the human element. So how do you protect the users from misinformation? Or how do you redirect them to ensure that the information is accurate?
Okay, this is wonderful. This is part of their development that we're doing. And there's a set of medical curators. There's people that's going to be participating in that from science. And this is one thing. The curated element is going to be announced as a curated element, that the other contents that are not curated are going to be announced as non-curated elements. So the patients, they may choose where to go, but they will know there's non-curated and curated. So we started protecting our patients, announcing which of that curated knowledge is there. And when we mean curated knowledge is according to science, right? And it's according to what it's currently allowed and understood as scientifically valid. And of course, if there are crazy things like, seawater cures cancer and stuff like that, well, we do have control over that sort of publications.
Do you have, or will you have any moderation algorithm or process for the social network? Is there going to be any sort of moderation?
Sure. Yeah, and that's part of what I was explaining at the moment. We do have, we could differentiate which part it's curated and not, and this is how it happens. And it's a process, and it's complementary. It's not one-sided. It's not only a computer working on that. It has a team of people, and of course a team of experts. That's what our medical team is growing exponentially right now. We visit Puerto Rico, and we do have a lot of people that's willing to work with us. In UK, as I mentioned, we have a very enthusiastic doctor that is wanting to work with us, but also that community, it's going to be growing as well as the US community. We're sure of that.
Thank you. Thank you. Now, what is the pharma company's angle? Are they using data to improve their drugs? Can they help you secure pilots? And is the entry into IDN's comprehensive cancer centers? What about that entry? And
okay, so
are they using the data?
Like three questions.
Yes, there are three questions in one.
Right. Let's start from the one that asked from what's the angle? The angle is simple. Once you can guarantee adherence, that's how the pharmaceutical industry makes their money. They don't need anymore. If you're buying their treatment and you have a patient that's adherent and it's taking a treatment every time and every day as ordered by the doctor, the treatment, they have to go and get it from the pharmaceutical industry. Either if it's a state-based healthcare system or is a private one, that promise of value that the patient is adhering to the treatment and buying the treatment, that's enough for the pharmaceutical industry. That's the angle. They're buying, right? And that's how they made the money. The money from the pharmaceutical industry comes from their buyers, period. So, but we can do a very interesting thing as well. From most of our interactions, we can know which patients want to participate in trials. We know which patients want to, which patients are willing and which patients we can be educated to do that part, which is a very interesting part of what pharmaceutical industry likes what we do too. So, and the third part, they're not monsters. They're human beings. They have families and they suffer cancer, and they know that the way we deal with them and the way the patient is feeling comfortable with this ecosystem, sharing part of their journey, learning from others, that is something that is really relevant.
Perfect. There was, in the same question, there was the point, can they help you secure pilots, the pharmaceutical companies?
They may, yeah.
Perfect. Okay. What is the average sales life cycle or the average time taken for sale? Someone's asking.
Okay, so well, what we experience with the pharmaceutical industry, there's two ways that we've gone. So Maya, what you're seeing here is like a main product, but what we have is a set of capabilities that we could create and go deeper. We're very strong in analytics and AI. And in that sense, we could create predictive modeling for many cases. For instance, for Boehringer Ingelheim, we did predictive modeling. That case, that took us probably 4 months to sell that particular model. It was just a model. With the ACHO, the Colombian Association for Healthcare and for hematology and oncology, sorry, that it took us a bit more of 3 months. With Janssen, it was different. With Janssen, took us probably 6 to 7 months, and with Pfizer, took us almost 2 years. So, like, if you take an average of that, we might say that would be around 8 months on that sense. But the social network opens a very different, and we're going to be reviewing those numbers because what we're doing now is seeing that the numbers may grow. It's an interesting scenario.
Thank you. The question was if you're HIPAA compliant. I think you mentioned that on the slide. Is that correct? Or
correct.
HIPAA?
Yeah.
So would you like to monetize the social circles by adding some value-added products or services through partnerships?
For sure. Yeah, and that's part of it. I mean, we didn't get that into that because we know it's a showcase, but yes, sure. That, I mean, this reality opens a new world of possibilities in terms of new types of income from the company. What we try to do is to be very responsible with the patients. We try to, as we said, what we want to do, and our main goal is to improve their quality of life and improve their chances of survival. So in that sense, that's going to be part of what we're focusing in. But yeah, partnerships, they're very welcome.
Would you like to talk about a little bit about how you integrate with up and running software and hardware right at the moment, if you integrate, and how you
APIs and RPAs. So those are the two main elements. But we do, I mean, first of all, what we do, we kind of do consulting work in which we understand whether they have legacy systems, whether they have, you know, a process in which probably is not involving, you know, digital technology, and we have to go. So once we get there, what we do is that we help the companies to transform towards a digital, more modern situation. Like we do the true digital transformation. What we don't like to do is to sell stuff like concepts or sometimes they're voided words in which they, oh yeah, this is the digital transformation through bio-digital information magic that comes and goes, whenever it's simply understanding a process, doing the thing as you want to do it, and trying to have, you know, improve and involve the team of healthcare practitioners. We do like to work as a serious people, and we do like to understand and help patients and doctors in their journey.
Thank you so much. Someone is arguing that pharma is your client in Latin America. In the US, it's mainly oncologists, comprehensive cancer centers, and doctors in the US. Pharmaceutical companies are your clients maybe in Latin America, says Sarah.
I don't understand the question. What's the question?
No, it's just a statement that in the US, okay, your clients are mainly oncologists and cancer centers instead of pharmaceutical companies.
Like in US? I mean, so if it's a statement, I don't know what to say.
If you agree. So how would you manage the variation between different communities and stakeholders with both quantity and quality of information provided?
How do we manage?
How would you manage the variation between different communities and stakeholders? If Sultan would like to elaborate a little bit on that, and
yes, please do, because I mean, we do have one thing, you know, like we do love to partner, and the American Society of Cancer, it's probably going to be one of the newest partners coming to work with us. But we do have this social responsibility, since we speak Spanish and we're Latino population and we're Hispanic population, like the founders and how and where we started. We do love to work with the Latino population in the US, and this is a growing population, and this growing population, they are in a range in which healthcare sometimes is hard for them. If we could help them, that's one of the things that we do. And, you know, Juanes, which is a Colombian singer, always had a shirt that says, "Se habla en español." We speak Spanish, right? So we know our logics. We could help them. We could integrate people from many other countries in the community. Not only the Latino population in the US, but we could integrate with other Latin, Hispanic countries, and that's what's one of the things that we love to get there. Now, as I mentioned before, now we're having doctors from Europe, doctors from the US, doctors from Colombia. You know, like at one point, validation would say, "Look, who is a doctor in Colombia? No one. I'm here in the US. You could have the god of the doctors, and he's no one, right? But you replace here in the US, and you have a strong community, not only in the US, but in Europe and in Colombia and everywhere. Now they cannot say anything. We are a community. You want doctors from the US, you have them, but they have the experience, and good doctors are good doctors anywhere in the world. That's what we hope they are. So that's how we think things here in Maya Health.
I have one final question for you. And what are you going to focus on first, the social media part or the smart disease management?
So this is very interesting. We started with the smart disease management. Now we're going for the social media. So that's that's the very interesting thing. I mean, this is a very insightful change. The company may require a lot of as we mentioned before, a lot of strength in organizational and partnerships and all of that. But we're going to hit the world with this social media platform that allows a better interaction, a curated scenario, and the complementary part of having an outpatient follow-up set. I mean, we could have the patients, even though if the doctors don't want it, we do have that part. Now we are transforming the whole thing, and this is going to be a very unique model, and we think it's going to be very successful.
Thank you, Jorge. Okay, I have one final question. One more. What about the psychological aspect, like mental health? What do you do to support? Is there any form of support? And
Sure.
What about the whole psychology part?
Look, this is fantastic. A friend now of ours, but we were introduced to her by Angeles and Esther, which is Yota. She's an artist. She's a great artist. We spoke that like in the very beginning, and when we were studying this and how to solve the problem of landing in the US and all that. And this is a very impactful thing that the patients have, and the social network itself. It starts as an element to work this way up. And let me tell you, whenever you talk to a patient, the patient wants to help. The patient wants to, most of them, some of them, of course not. And we all know, like, there's no generalization, but most of the patients that we've spoken to, they want to tell their story in order to help others. They want to have that sort of communication, and having that's part of the psychological improvement. And then we could have people, and we've been in contact in the US with, there's a VC that's only interested in investing in health, in mental health care. But they told us that they're ready to help us with their people, the people that they know and they have invested in, to bring to this community those experts that can be there, that those two wants to collaborate. And we had really, really good feedback on that. But we can, I mean, if you guys want to go deeper and invest in Maya, I'm very welcome to tell you everything.
All of the participants here will receive your information and your contact info to reach out. We will also be posting everything on our YouTube channel, and they're free to connect with you guys. Park, let me give it up to you. Thank you. Thank you, Jorge.
Thank you, Vivian. Thank you, Park. Take care, everyone.
Absolutely, Jorge. Thank you so much. And again, thank you to all the questions, guys. Great questions. Our final company today will be Tournaman, led by its founder, Almat Baydesenov from Kazakhstan. Tournaman is a platform which aims to universalize the competition and tournament space by bringing together organizers, sponsors, participants, judges, and viewers across a wide range of industries and spaces. By gamifying the competition experience and emphasizing the live streaming of competitions to gain traction and audience, Tournaman hopes to become synonymous with real-world and virtual competitions worldwide. Tournaman has already seen traction in Kazakhstan and aims to continue growing on that success in the US market. With that, Almat, whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Park. Hello, everybody. Thank you for the IA for this opportunity. So I'll just right away share the screen. Just tell me if it's on.
Yes, we're seeing it.
All right, cool. All right, so hello everybody again. My name is Almat, and I'm from Kazakhstan, and this is Tournaman. We are bringing the world together through competition, as Park said. So let's right away jump into the problem. So the problem here is that there is no universal platform for competitions or tournaments. So before I just explain this problem, I would like to talk about my background, like what I did before I started this company. So I used to be a teacher. I used to be a teacher for 9 years, and I taught in high school, I taught in universities, and I used to take my students to all kinds of competitions, like you name it, debates, robotics, math, physics, and I used to like, how do you like get to know these competitions? You either know them like by word of mouth, or you just Google them, right? And the main problem here is that there's no system. Like every single competition out there in the world, I mean, there are thousands of them, right? They all have their own website. So like there's no unifying platform where I can just go there and like search for competitions that I like, or even it's not systematic for the organizers as well. And then moving on, eventually I ended up organizing competitions myself. Like I started small, like regionally, and then I organized national competitions, international competitions. It became big, like probably tens of competitions I have organized. And then another problem raised in this time, like I couldn't, like I had a lot of difficulties finding judges, for example, for my competition. So there is a problem of no connectivity between organizers, participants, judges, or even potential sponsors, companies, right? And then another problem that it raises is that there's no visibility of these competitions. Like competitions usually start and end. You don't see like in between live standings, like maybe some streamings, media coverage. I mean, of course, there are big competitions like, you know, sports competitions where they have the big bucks and usually they have the TV coverage and everything. But I'm talking about like these thousands of competitions that are basically organized by high schools, like universities, like organizations, companies, and so on. So it's very hard to have to solve that as well. Like I used to pretty much hire cameramen to, you know, to have a very good videos and photos and so on. And there's also no consistency. What do I mean by that? Like I had a lot of students who would compete in many competitions, but where are those achievements, right? So there's no global ranking systems going on in different disciplines and so on. So there's no consistency. You participate, you get your certificate, and that's it, right? So as a solution, Tournamon is a global platform for competitions that allows anyone to create, find, participate, judge, and most importantly, stream live competitions. Why do I say by streaming? Because like we've been researching a lot and we've been talking to these organizers, and most of them like this feature a lot. So pretty much the first problem we had, right? No system. So any organization or anybody pretty much can go to the platform and create their profile, and people would follow them, see their upcoming competitions, past competitions, and so on. And like they start managing their competitions, like they use different tools. They can find judges. They can find maybe potential sponsors, registration, payments, all this in this solution. And thirdly, streaming, right? So we provide this solution as like imagine like you're participating in a competition, you're a parent, maybe your kid is competing in a competition, and you start streaming it. And this video or photo will be saved in that specific website's page, whereas it basically it's basically a self-sustainable sort of system where organizers don't have to care about you know, having a cameraman or whatever. You have tons of videos and streams, photos that are already being covered by your fans, by your participants, right, by your supporters, and so on. And then finally, leaderboards. You have a global ranking system where the more you participate in this competition, the more XP points, experience points you get, and it's pretty much gamified, right? That's what we need pretty much in everywhere, like education especially. So this is our demo right now. You can just see in the first picture where you can see like in the main page, you have a bunch of competitions you can participate. There's a very good design where you can search also by categories and so on, and find information. And you can see like there's a profile, liked competitions and so on, like all the information about the competition is there. And then we have a mobile demo we are working still on it. So eventually, of course, when we allow streaming, we need to have a mobile application where people could stream this. In the first page here, as you can see, it just shows live competitions. Like we have 4 main buttons, like live, leaderboards, and tournaments, where you can find and look for the tournaments, browse tournaments. And you have your own profile where you collect all your achievements, like XP points and so on and so on. And then let's talk about the marketing strategy here. So pretty much so far, we've done a lot of research back in Kazakhstan. We've been working with a lot of partners. They've been organizing competitions. And we're right now looking at specifically organizers where they're willing to grow their audience through streaming. And as I told you before, like they like this part because it gives them exposure. It gives them, you know, already like ready material for them to advertise their competitions, and they want to go big. So we're targeting them especially. And of course, the way that we're going to target participants is with compete for cash strategy, meaning that all these competitions will provide at the end of the day some kind of prize, but of course, preferably a cash prize. I will talk about this more on the next slide, how it actually works like magic, like in other platforms, especially in video gaming. And of course, we would like to connect sponsors, like find companies and facilitate sponsorship for both organizers and participants. That's going to be our strategy. If you're going to look at some of the competitors, here we have, I mean, really, like there's no actually platform that really facilitates all the things that I have said, like tackles all the problems and give out all the solution. If you look at Tournamatic, it's a very old platform, but it's only for sports, and you don't have a lot of traffic. It's just information there. There's no a lot of engagement in the platform. Unstop is from India. They have like competition, but they try to cover a lot, but mostly it's about, you know, between university students and companies. We have ICS, it's in US, but it's all, again, information-based website where they don't have leaderboard streaming. You can't find judges there. So a lot of the problems stay still unsolved. But if you look at like, if I'm like, pay attention to the logos upside here, like game, battle, tournament, challenge, checkmate, gaming. These are all video game industry platforms, and they have already solved this problem. And if you look at if you go to their websites, it's all about you know, gamification, like leaderboard. They have XP points, and it's fun, and they have millions of users for sure, because again, like it's gaming industry and people love playing games. But the fact that they use already all these tools and it is working, it's already saying that we need this platform for live competitions. Now, our business model is going to be platform currency. Now, if we're going to talk about, again, previously those big platforms in video gaming, they already use this strategy. They already have sort of gems, or they call it credits, where where users buy these gems with real money, and they can use it to participate in competitions or to do other stuff as well on the platform, where you can pretty much incentivize with different, you know, interesting features. And then we have monthly subscription, where we would provide organizers to get more to use more tools, and especially verify their tournaments or become verified as an organizer as well. This is also one of the models where we will use in the future the verification model to carry value of specific competitions that are actually verified by Tournament. And then, of course, ad revenue with high streaming traffic. We're thinking that with the streaming, there will be a very high traffic on the platform as well, because they have a lot of supporters, fans in each community, and so on. Now, our financial projection in 5 years, we're trying to reach more than 18 million users with the 75 million in total in revenue. And our team, basically, it's me. I have a huge background in education and organizing competitions. Aldan is my co-founder. He's also a very seasoned businessman, and he's been doing again, like an educational system for more than 10 years. Juanash is our recent CTO. Angelos, again, I don't have to talk about Angelos, like it's already here. It's already, his name is already proven it. So, and our roadmap looks like this, like we've pretty much in the last 1.5 years, we've been testing this model in Kazakhstan with more than 20 competitions and more than 3,000 participants from 17 cities in Kazakhstan. Worked with a lot of professionals. What I mean by professionals are the judges from 15 different countries, where pretty much there is a huge incentive in different communities, especially in different disciplines, where these people, these professionals would help judge these competitions. And we partnered with many universities and the government of Kazakhstan as well. Right now, we have partnered, right now we are in the US, working with IA, and working to launch our second MVP in USA and targeting 300 organizers. We already have their profiles, we've been talking to them. And potentially in the first year, we're thinking 18,000 participants. Then the next stage, in the next couple of 5 years, we would expand to other countries and have more traffic. Yeah. And right now we're asking in this round, for the seed round, 250,000 in SAFE. Like basically we'll go to app development, the marketing and staff. So the app development is right now it's being done. Like we have a team from Kazakhstan. We have a CTO. He's working on the back end of the platform, but we need to also have more staff to who the technician guys that understands app development and streaming as well. So with all this, yeah, thank you very much for everybody for your attention. If you have any questions, I would be glad to answer them.
Thank you, Almat. Thank you so much. Let's wait for a couple of minutes as the questions come in. So what is the strategy to collaborate with current recognized regional and international competitions?
Yeah, so these competitions, like we know, like there's established organizations that already have these competitions, and they do it annually, seasonally. We've been talking to them. We've been tackling their audience as well. But at the end of the day, these are big players, right? Of course, there, like we will be the very prominent feature would be streaming, right? Because they have their websites, they have their sort of platform where they manage their tournaments. But at the end of the day, what we would provide would be much fun for the participants, for the community to engage with our platform. Yeah.
Thank you. Most pitch competitions are non-profits or have low margin. So what is your pricing structure for those organizations?
Yeah, here's the thing, right? We are aware that there is like a lot of competitions that are free of charge, but we've done the research. We've recently got like around 500 very prominent competitions in the world. And around 30% of them cost money to get in, and they have good prizes, like good cash prizes, right? And they already have their sponsors, but to get into that competition, you have to pay again. So I would say, again, there are competitions for free, but we still have that markets. As long as we have that 20% to 30% of people, or organizers or participants paying for these competitions, it would work for sure.
Are there any specific tournaments or organizers that you're going to approach first?
Yes. So first, it's mostly going to be academic competitions, because we have started with academic competitions, like, for example, debates, robotics, engineering competitions in high school, and actually university students as well. So this is going to be our sort of first ideal clients, and then we would move on to sports, like arts. Actually, arts would be also one of the first targets as well.
Thank you. Someone says that many prizes are in kind, and if they're in cash, then that's donated by a sponsor usually. So, what is your plan for sponsors?
Yes, for sure. Here's the thing. Like this model has been also we've been testing this in Kazakhstan as well, and we've seen like other similar platforms where a lot of companies, like big companies like Google, Microsoft, I mean, you name it, those companies are always interested to invest or sponsor, especially academic competitions. So once we get this platform running and we have the traffic, it would be easy to attract those big sponsors for sure. But again, we are also targeting specific organizers that are willing to expand their tournaments, and a lot of them also try to monetize these competitions. And we have, like, in the market, there are so many organizations that actually benefit money from organizing very quality competitions. So there is that target, there is that audience.
Thank you. What is the validation process for the authenticity of the new competitions and the reality of the competitors?
What is the validation process for the authenticity? Here, of course, in the beginning, we would be able to validate easily because we would be targeting ourselves the specific competitions. But at the end of the day, when it will be a platform, anybody can be an organizer and organize a competition among their friends, among their community. It's only when they apply for the verification we will look at the competitions for sure. Yeah.
Thank you. Let's wait for another question.
Yeah.
Is there any legal liability on the platform?
Currently, no. We're only testing this with the customers that we know, that the customers that we approach. So for sure, the legal liability will be like we've done this, like when there's a payment, and of course we would use the third-party services to do that. So yeah, when there's payment involved, for sure, like we already have that legal liability. So
how do you vet judges?
So pretty much every community or every discipline right now has their have their own community of judges. So we would definitely approach these judges for sure by looking at their experience, their CV first. But of course, furthermore, how it will happen is like judges will have their own profiles as well, and it will show that this judge for sure judged these specific tournaments, and therefore they will have their own validation as a judge, right? You can see their experience and everything, but the judge is being pretty much chosen by the organizer. So as a judge, you would apply to judge specific competition, and an organizer will decide whether to take you to judge it or not. So pretty much there's interview going on, like question and answers and so on.
I imagine the judge will also have a personal profile with all his qualifications listed.
Yeah, for sure. Like a lot of the times what happens is that these participants, after some time, they end up being judges themselves. So there you go, like you already have a person that has already been participating in these competitions and they have experience, and now they start judging and giving back to the community as well.
Thank you. What would be the standard language of the platform? Will it be English?
For now, it's English and Russian because back in Kazakhstan, this platform was in Russian. Now we will be having 2 languages only because we still have partners that are still using our platform to post their competitions online. But yeah, for now it's English and Russian. But furthermore, as I said, when we start expanding, it will be different languages as well.
Great. Is one of the benefits that competitions through your platform would attract international interest, both for participants and judges and organizers?
Yeah, for sure. As I said, a lot of organizers would like to expand their competitions, grow their audience, grow their community, whatever they are doing, whatever they're passionate about, and they want more participation all the time. As an organizer, I could attest to that. I've been I always want to have more participation in my competitions so that they would, people would know this competition or specific discipline for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
How would you benefit from the audience who are just viewers? They are not participants or organizers.
Yeah, so that's a very good question, because we have we've identified pretty much roles, right? So we have organizers, participants, judges, and potential sponsors, and spectators, people who would probably be just watching or supporting their players or whatever, or parents, right? So we have, again, as I told you, we have a main our main financial model is gems, like digital currency within the system, within the platform. So we would be incentivizing everybody pretty much who uses this to buy these coins or credits. Like it is even used in Twitch, for example. Twitch, they have their own currency within Twitch, and it's pretty successful, right? Because people tend to buy specific these gems, credits to use more functions, to use more features. At the end of the day, when there's a gamification involved, you would want to use more of that platform.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We're waiting for some extra questions.
So
what are the streaming platforms targeted?
What are the streaming platforms targeted? You mean like third-party streamers, streaming services? Oh, okay. Yeah, right now we're looking at mux.com, and there's several as well. That's my CTO is talking to them to use. Again, initially we would definitely use third-party services for sure. So yeah, most probably mux, mux.com.
Thank you. Okay, we'll just wait for a couple of minutes. And what about YouTube?
Yeah, for sure. We were thinking about YouTube, probably host these videos on YouTube and probably show it on our platform as for our first MVP goes. But we were also calculating how, I think for a couple of, I think for the first 10 big organizers, we can do third-party services. I think it would be much better. But again, if it goes up, for sure, we'll think of something else.
Thank you, Ahmed. Looks like we don't have any more questions. We can go ahead and do the park. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Almat. And again, thank you to everybody who's here today and for your great questions. I encourage everybody to visit our YouTube channel, the International Accelerator YouTube channel. Vivian has posted the link in the chat. You can view the presentation from today, as well as the startup showcase we had last week and all of the previous year's startup showcases. Thank you again, everybody, for your time. Really appreciate it.